What's up guys? It's Meg. Today we are going over a little bit more in depth of the new promo called Don't Look Back for Season 4 of The Walking Dead. I am so excited. If you guys saw my reaction video to it yesterday, I was freaking out and I'm still freaking out over it. I can't stop thinking about it. I did watch it a bunch more times, but you know, you can't really get too much from it. It's such a short promo. I really wish that it had been longer. I know you guys probably wish that too. So I did write down a few things that I wanted to talk about today in regards to the new promo and maybe some things that we can expect or look forward to in the upcoming season on February 9th. So to get started, I kind of was thinking about the themes of this season, season 4, and the first half was all about, can we come back from what we've done? You know, Rick had said at the very last episode, we can all come back from this. And then, you know, in the episode with Clara, if you don't remember, she was the girl that Rick found in the woods when he was checking his traps, and we all thought she was a walker at first. And then she spoke, and then she tried to kill Rick. And they went over the questions that Rick asks, you know, and it was kind of like, do you think that you can come back from all of the horrible things that you've done? And so that was the theme for the first half. And the second half, it seems like they're really emphasizing the don't look back thing. So I just thought it was kind of funny that the first half is we can all come back from this, and the second half is don't look back. Keep moving forward, that kind of thing. So I'm really interested to see how that theme plays out in the rest of these episodes, because the first theme was really prominent in every episode. I mean, it really touched on it. So it'll be really exciting to see. To get started, I really liked the song Bad Moon Rising that they played, the version of it. Whoa, it was really dark, and I think it really fit the promo. I was really excited about it. What did you guys think? And so to get into it, I'm kind of just going kind of line by line. I already kind of went through every scene and what happened, but the biggest thing is Michonne's at the prison, and we think, I am like 99% sure that it's Glenn in the riot suit with Tara. And I'll explain my reasoning in a second. But we know that these three characters are all at the prison, but what we don't know is whether or not they're there at the same time. I kind of think they're not. I think that Michonne was clearly still at the prison when all of the stuff went down. You know, when the governor died and the governor killed Herschel. She was still there. And I think that the scenes with her at the prison are from immediately afterwards. She hasn't left or anything. She's not coming back to find someone. She's been there the whole time. And they've all driven away and she's left there alone. And I think maybe she goes back and looks. I really don't think that she's there at the same time as Glenn. But maybe. It's always a possibility. And then okay, so here's my reasoning for why I think Glenn is the one in the riot gear. First off, we know that he was on the bus, and the bus drove away before Maggie could come back. And we know that he would not want to stay on the bus without Maggie. He doesn't want to go wherever they're planning on going. He's got to have Maggie. Maggie's really the only person in his life that he really loves and cares about. Her and Herschel and Beth, they're her family now, you know, or they're his family now, excuse me. So he doesn't have anybody else. He's not going to want to go on this bus, you know, and leave her behind. So there's been a lot of speculation whether or not the bus crashed, because we see him waking up and he's got blood on his face, like there's been some sort of accident. So there's a possibility the bus crashed. There's also a possibility, because we see everyone jumping off the bus, that someone was injured or shot that was on the bus, and they turned into a walker, and then they had to get off the bus in a very big hurry. The reason I think that he's the one with the riot gear is because they said that the bus was stocked with supplies. You know, and maybe they mentioned that it didn't have as much food supplies, but they had stocked this bus. Like, this was their escape plan. So I'm sure that they had more than just 2 riot gear suits. When they took out the walkers that were wearing them in the very beginning of season 3, I'm sure that there were more than just 2. And even if there wasn't, they could have found more, I'm guessing. So what if they put an extra suit on the bus, you know, just as a backup plan. You know, say that the bus was driving and they came upon a horde of walkers and walkers got on the bus or something. Someone could put the riot gear on and help protect, you know, be on the front lines and protect the people who were not covered with the gear. I don't know, it's just a thought. That was the immediate thing that I thought of for why he would have it, since I do not believe he was wearing it when he got on the bus. So obviously, if he doesn't have any idea where Maggie is, he's going to want to know if she's alive or dead. So he's going to go back to where they all were at the prison to see if maybe he can find her, if she's dead, or if he can figure out where she went. It just seems like the logical place to start. Even if he knows that she's not there anymore, where else is he going to start? Especially if they didn't have a plan on where to go with the bus. So, and then to back up that theory, there was, when I was going frame by frame, the very first time we see someone in riot gear, he's not wearing a helmet or anything, and he stabs the girl walker that's in front of him, and all you see is the back of the person's head, but he's got black or very dark brown short hair, just like Glenn. I mean, there's no long hair. There's a lot of people saying that it could be Lily, but there's no long hair. I mean, it's not her, unless there's two people with riot gear on. Because we don't see, from that point on, all of the scenes with the person in riot gear, they're wearing the helmet. So we don't really know. And there's a couple scenes where the person is surrounded by a bunch of walkers in the prison. And then there's another scene where the person is running away with Tara. I am just completely sure that it's Tara. She's wearing the same outfit that Tara was wearing on the attack at the prison. So I know that for sure. But I'm really thinking that it's Glenn, you guys. I know there's some of you out there that don't believe that. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I've already talked to some of you about your thoughts on it, but if you haven't yet commented, let me know what you think, because I'm really interested to hear it. My next point, quickly, is that we do know Tyreese is by the train tracks. He's killing a bunch of walkers. We don't see any kids, which of course they're not going to tell us or show us that the kids are with him, because we've all been in suspense about it, and it would just ruin it. You know, we want to see what happens during the actual show. As much as we want a spoiler, I think it would ruin it if he suddenly was just rocking baby Judith. You know, we want to see that happen on the actual show rather than having them just spoil it for us in the preview. But when he is hitting the walkers with his hammer, and then we see another scene where he turns and he's got his hammer up, and it really looks like he sees someone that he knows. Now, from the Spoil the Dead website, we know that we've seen pictures of him filming with Carol. So I'm fairly certain that it's Carol that he sees, and he's going to be shocked, you know. He's not going to expect to see it. He didn't... Woohoo! Okay, my camera cut me off again. So sorry, you guys, if this is the first video you've ever watched of me. I have a really crappy camera, and it has sand in it, and it is broken. So it cuts me off every few minutes when I'm talking, and apparently it shut off when I was talking about Tyreese, and I recorded probably for another 5 or so minutes before I realized it wasn't recording me. So, I don't even remember where I was at. We know Tyreese is by the train tracks. We didn't see any of the kids with him, of course. They're not going to tell us that. What? I don't even know. I'm so annoyed right now, you guys. Okay, so we see Tyreese turn and look, and it sort of seems like he sees someone that he knows, which would fit with the whole meeting up with Carol spoiler that we have seen pictures of them filming together by the train tracks. So that's what my guess is on there. Moving right along, the Michonne breakdown in the woods. We really haven't seen her cry a lot in this series. Someone else pointed out to me that we saw her cry at the end of season 3 when Andrea died, because that was really emotional for her. Andrea, I believe, was like her family. She's really the only person that Michonne had that she cared about. And then we saw her cry with Judith, and we haven't really seen much else, you know, even throughout all the scary stuff that's happened. So seeing her break down and just bawling like that, surrounded by the pile of walkers, you have to know that she's just really having a hard time to be crying like that. Like, she's really feeling bad. I really hope, like a lot of you have said, that we do see more storyline from her. and more backstory, excuse me, that's what I'm trying to say, from her, and see kind of what is her history, what's happened to her. We know what happens from the comics, but it would be really cool to see it played out on the screen, or see if it's different on television than it is in the comics. Then that leads me to the breakdown. We also see Beth crying and just feeling like, looking utterly defeated. We see Daryl look back at her, and we know that they're together. And we see them running through the field again. The point I wanted to make with the running through the field thing is there's been a lot of speculation that they were running from someone and being chased. Because, you know, it looks like they're full out running. But my thought was, you know, they took off on foot when they left the prison. And they were running flat out to get away from everything that was happening there and all of the walkers. We know, at least I'm pretty sure we know, that the second half of season 4 is going to pick up nearly right after where it ended in December. I don't think there's going to be much, if any, of a time gap. So my thought when I first saw that scene was, maybe they're not running from anyone. Maybe they're just still running from the prison. I mean, you've got to get far enough away before you feel safe. And maybe they've just, you know, they take off running and they're running like crazy, and then they just collapse on the ground because they know that they're finally safe, you know, away from everything, and they just are like, ugh, completely exhausted, you know, and that's why they're laying all funny like they passed out. I'm really interested to see more Daryl backstory. I know I've said that before, but we know a little bit about him and his history, but it would be really interesting to see, you know, where he really came from, what he did for a living. We know in the very first episode of season 4, we had someone trying to guess what he used to do. So it would be really cool to actually find out, and just to see Beth's character grow more. We haven't really seen a lot from her. Seeing her break down crying like that and looking so defeated, her father's death has clearly affected her, obviously. I mean, we knew it was, but she's been so, I guess, stoic maybe is the word. She's been so unemotional throughout this season. You know, she doesn't cry anymore, she said. And then to see her break down like that and really cry is just kind of awful. And then that leads me to Maggie. We see Maggie for the first time. We haven't seen her in any of the previews, really. And so we always see is just a glimpse of her face, but to me, it looked like she was seeing something, and behind her was a guardrail. So it looks like she was walking on the highway. At first, when I saw it, it happened so quickly I thought it was the train tracks. But to me, it looked like a guardrail for the highway. So my guess is she wants to follow the highway to find Glenn, who took off on the bus. Maybe she sees the bus accident. Maybe it's crashed and she sees it. Or maybe she meets up with some other familiar face or unfamiliar face. I don't know, but I don't think we're just looking at her and she's just standing around doing nothing. I think she's actually seeing something interesting. I'm really excited to see what it is. Maybe she sees Rosita and Abraham and Eugene. That would be kind of cool. I know on Spoil the Dead, they talked a lot about who was filming together, and I haven't really paid too much attention to that. You know, I like reading into the previews, but I don't really like reading spoilers. You know, for the first half, when we saw that picture before we saw the episode of Herschel on his knees and Michonne on her knees, it really bothered me. I was like, my eyes are bleeding. I don't want to see this, because I don't really want the show to be ruined. I just want to speculate and predict things and maybe be right. I don't want it to be ruined. So I try to avoid those kinds of topics. So you guys, if you pay attention to that, you can tell me whether or not they were filming together. And then I'm changing the page on my notes. That looks like that's it, you guys. What am I missing? We didn't get to see any of the kids, which we knew we weren't going to, but I really wanted to. It would have been really cool to just see, like, Lizzie and Mika, you know? But we didn't. What if you guys, when I first saw the end of season 4, I mean the end of the Too Far Gone, episode 8, when I first saw that, my immediate thought was, Tyreese said to the girls, come on, we go this way, and they ran the opposite way. And you know how Lizzie was like, Mika said, come on, we have to get on the bus, we have to get on the bus, and Lizzie was like, no, we should fight, we need guns, we need to defend this place. What if she didn't want to leave and she took off because it looked like they ran away from Tyreese. We know that maybe they were running back to baby Judith, but what if they grabbed Judith and ran deep into the prison because, you know, they didn't want to leave the prison or something? Kids are weird like that, you know? In traumatic situations, kids sometimes do the complete opposite of what you want them to do, and they don't trust you. My mom always used to say when I was little and really, really scared, I never trusted her to protect me. Maybe I'm a unique situation, but it kind of resonates with that. Like, Lizzie doesn't want to leave the prison, and maybe she talks the other kids into running into the prison, and maybe Tyreese doesn't get to them, you know, and is forced to leave, and maybe they're in the prison by themselves. I don't know. It seems like a crazy theory, but honestly, to be honest with you, that was my very first thought in seeing episode 8 and seeing those particular scenes. I thought, oh my gosh, they ran away from him. How is he gonna find them? He's gonna have to go deep into the prison to get them. But then, you know, there's lots of theories that he just grabbed them and they all ran off together, so who really knows? But that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to, is finding out if Judith is alive and finding out what happens with the kids in that storyline. What are you guys most looking forward to? That's it for today. Leave me a comment on what you're most looking forward to. If this is the first episode of my... Whoa, I got cut off again, guys. If this is the first episode of my show that you've ever watched, just know that when the second half of the season premieres on February 9th, I'm going to be doing a live reaction where you can watch me watch the show. I'm also going to be doing a review of the show, and then I will most likely, if I can manage it, be doing a predictions episode for the next week's episode. So hopefully I'll be doing 3 videos a week, and I really hope that you guys will subscribe if you liked this and give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you next week. Okay, I hope you have a fantastic week. Thanks, bye!